Travelers had always been warned about the forest. It was called Ebon Hollow, a stretch of woodland that old maps left blank, where roads vanished, and compasses spun uselessly. The legends were older than memory. Caravans swallowed whole, wandering souls lured by whispers, strange lights moving between the trees. But legends are often ignored when the shortest road lies through cursed land. A group of 5 weary travelers made that mistake. The autumn sky was already bleeding into dusk when they reached the edge of the hollow. Eric, a scholar of ruins, had insisted on this route, eager to save days on their journey. He carried his journal, every page filled with sketches of runes and half-legends. Beside him walked Celine, a healer, her calm eyes hiding quiet fear. She had lost her village to plague years ago. She had learned to carry sorrow like a second skin. Darren, broad-shouldered and stubborn, was a Sellsword who scoffed at superstition. "Trees don't bite," he muttered, patting the hilt of his sword. Leora, the youngest, barely 20, had joined them chasing adventure, wide-eyed, curious, too eager for danger. And finally, Tomas, a merchant whose patience was thin and whose purse was thinner. "We lose daylight with every step we argue," he grumbled. So, they stepped into Ebon Hollow. At first, it was only forest, twisting roots, damp leaves, the smell of rain-soaked bark. But within minutes, they noticed the silence. No birds, no insect, no wind. Only the crunch of their boots and the faint rattle of Tomas's cart. Celine whispered, "It feels, watch." Darren laughed. "By squirrels?" But even he glanced uneasily into the mist curling between the trees. The deeper they walked, the stranger it grew. The forest seemed endless, the path winding back on itself. Once, when they paused, Eric swore he saw the same gnarled oak they had passed an hour earlier, its branches shaped like clutching fingers. Night fell quickly. They made camp, a small fire crackling against the damp. Leora tried to brighten the mood. "It's just a forest," she said, forcing a smile. But then they heard it. A soft hum, faint, almost like wind, then clearer. A woman's voice singing a lullaby. Celine froze. "That song. I've heard it before. My grandmother used to warn." The voice drifted closer, weaving through the trees, soothing yet suffocating. Tomas's horse reared in terror. Darren cursed, gripping his sword. And Leora, wide-eyed, whispered, "It's coming from everywhere." The fire sputtered out. Darkness swallowed them whole. From his pack, Eric pulled a strange object, an old bronze lantern he had purchased in a village weeks ago. He had bought it for its etched runes, dismissing the seller's trembling warning. When he lit it, pale blue light filled the camp. The singing stopped. But just beyond the glow, shapes moved tall, crooked figures with hollow eyes that glowed faint red. "Gods," Celine whispered. "They hate the light." Creatures lingered at the edge of the lantern's glow, retreating whenever Eric raised it higher. Their whispers scratched the air like rusted knives. The travelers did not sleep that night. At dawn, exhausted, they stumbled deeper into the hollow and found a cabin, half-rotten, swallowed by ivy. Inside, it smelled of mold and dust. Symbols were carved into the walls, circles, wards, and runes of protection. On a table lay a leather journal. Celine flipped it open with shaking hands. The final entry read, "The hollow will not release us. Only the lantern holds them back. One must stay, or none will leave." The ink trailed off into a dark smear. Leora whispered, "Stay? What does that mean?" Before anyone could answer, the door groaned. Something scraped against it from outside. Eric knew then. The journal had been clear. He looked at his companions, Celine with her quiet strength, Leora trembling but alive, Tomas shaking with fury, Darren pale and dying. He tightened his grip on the lantern. "Go. Take them. I'll hold them off." "No." Celine grabbed his arm. "You'll die." Eric smiled sadly. "Better me than all of us." Before they could stop him, he stepped into the circle of creatures, lantern blazing. The forest screamed. Shadows shrieked and burned as the light expanded, a dome of fire and pale glow. "Run!" Eric roared. And they did. Celine dragging Leora, Tomas stumbling, Darren collapsing against the trees. Behind them, the light burst like a star. When dawn broke, they found themselves at the forest's edge. The trees parted. A road stretched before them. They were free. But Eric was gone. Celine clutched the broken lantern, its light extinguished forever. Tears streaked her face. "He gave himself, to save us." Leora sobbed. Tomas was silent for once. Darren breathed his last with a faint smile, whispering, "He was braver than us all." They buried him at the forest's edge. Then they walked on, broken survivors. But that night, as Celine drifted into uneasy sleep, she heard it, a faint lullaby, and Eric's voice, whispering her name from the shadows.